Emily never believed in witches until she moved to Willow Creek. The small town seemed idyllic at first, with its quaint shops and friendly faces, nestled in a valley surrounded by dense forests. It was the perfect escape from her hectic city life. But as autumn approached, a chill settled over the community that had nothing to do with the weather. It started with whispers, neighbors speaking in hushed tones about the old cottage at the edge of the woods. "Don't go near there," they'd say, eyes darting nervously. "That's where the witch lives." Emily would often overhear these conversations at the local diner or shopping for groceries. She'd smile politely, assuming it was just local folklore. But then came signs she couldn't ignore. The way birds fell silent once you walk past certain parts of the forest. The strange symbols carved into tree trunks, glowing faintly in the moonlight. And then the dreams. Vivid nightmares of an old woman with eyes like green fire, reaching for her with gnarled hands. Emily laughed it off initially. Small towns and their superstitions, she thought. But then the disappearances began. First it was pets, cats and dogs vanishing without a trace. Mrs. Henderson's prized tabby, Johnson Kid's golden retriever, things like that. But then little Timmy, only 8 years old, went missing on his way home from school. A week later was old Mr. Collins, who vanished on his evening walk. When the police searched, they found nothing. As fear gripped the town, Emily noticed strange occurrences around her own home. Shadows moving at the corner of her eye, the faint smell of herbs and smoke drifting through her open window at night. Sometimes she'd wake to find her belongings rearranged, or a mysterious scratch on her front door frame. One evening, unable to shake her unease, Emily decided to investigate the cottage herself. As she approached through the misty woods, the trees seemed to whisper warnings. She saw a flickering light inside and heard eerie chanting, words in a language she didn't recognize, but that made her skin crawl. Heart pounding, she peered through the grimy window, and what she saw made her blood run cold. A hunched figure stood over a bubbling cauldron, dropping in what looked horribly like human fingers. Jars lined the shelves filled with unspeakable things, eyes, teeth, and what might have been a human heart. Emily stifled a scream and turned to run, but her foot caught on a root. She fell hard, and the sound of her impacting echoed in the stillness. The chanting stopped abruptly. Emily scrambled to her feet as the cottage door creaked open. A withered face peered out, eyes glowing an unnatural green in the darkness. "Well, well," croaked the witch, her voice like dry leaves scraping stone. "Looks like I have fresh ingredients for tomorrow." Emily ran, branches whipping her face as she fled through the woods. But no matter how fast she moved, she couldn't escape the sound of cackling laughter or the sensation of gnarled fingers reaching for her in the dark. The trees themselves seemed to bend towards her, trying to trap her in their grasps. She burst out of the forest, gasping for air, and sprinted towards the town. But as she reached the first house, she realized something was terribly wrong. The streets were empty, windows dark, and in every doorway, a symbol glowed. The same symbol she'd seen in the woods. With dawning horror, Emily understood. The witch's influence had spread beyond her cottage. The entire town was under her spell. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. As she stood there, paralyzed by fear, the whispers started again, but this time they came from all around her, from the shadows, behind closed doors, from the very air itself. and they all said the same thing.
Welcome home, Emily. We've been waiting for you.
She never made it back to her house that night. And in Willow Creek, the townspeople added another name to their growing list of missing, while smoke continued to rise from the cottage in the woods. The witch's power grew stronger with each passing day.